Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's special edition of the Office Hour. And as usual, we have an expert in the house who is going to share his unique expert journey, how you can go from zero to hero. And there's something really unique about this expert that we have today. He's the kind of person that you will see as senator in this our space in Nigeria. He's been in the technology space, the data analysis, the enterprise, the DB space for over 20 years, before there was anything called Power BI, before a lot of the tools that most of us now debate about. So he has this unique perspective to being, seeing all of this transitioning from when there used to be COBOL as a major tool to develop programs. And, even Fortran, that some of us, when we learn in school, we're like, why are they teaching us things that are old? But then he has seen it in action in the industry. And right now, he's the kind of person that I call him indefatigable. Some of you that will have seen the things I pushed out yesterday, I said, you'll be learning from the indefatigable MVP Ayodeji Folarin. When I say indefatigable, it's someone who is passion for learning, for always wanting to move on to the next level. Is one that I have not seen many people in that stage in terms of experience and how many years he's been in this space. So many people that maybe will have started like he at when he started will be people now that they will be like, oh, let's leave these things to the young guys. No, and Microsoft even has recognized that in him, and he's also one of the MVPs in data platform. So I want you to ask him your questions, because sometimes we like to look for those people outside to tell us the truth that the people around us can tell us better. I don't want you to miss this opportunity of you having someone like him sharing his wealth of knowledge, and you can't even ask him those questions that you've always had in mind. You want to wait until when somebody else asks you somewhere else, and then you ask the wrong audience, because some of us, we like to ask questions to the wrong people. Now we have someone who has seen it all and who is very, very passionate about sharing his knowledge also. And so I will hand it over to Mr. Ayodeji Folarin. I'm going to bring him up stage, and virtual claps are going up. So welcome, sir, and we are all here to hear your unique journey.
Yeah, once again, my name is Ayodeji Folarin. I'm a Power BI expert, and let me just say I'm a computer science graduate, and I started this career several years ago in the 90s. I've been into IT, and today I'm where I am. So Michael, so what are the questions? Hello? Okay, so let me continue. Let me just give a background of how I got here. I started in mid-90s, around 1994, decided to pick up a career on IT. So I actually find myself in a polytechnic. I started from Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti. From there, went to Yaba College of Technology, where I studied maths and computer. And after that, I actually went into serious software development immediately after. Before I left school, I've been building software for several organizations out there. And I tell you, I still remember the very first major contract I got. I was still a student. So I went to the client, and I was so determined to at least let me make some money to clear some of my bills in school. The total bill in school then was about 20,000. And I told myself, from Yaba Tech, I went to the island, and we're discussing this project. I picked up the project, a software project. And the next thing I did, the man asked me how much would this cost. If you see the way I angrily told him that it was going to cost him 25,000. And right there and then he gave me the money, and I felt so stupid. Why now? But it was a nice story. That's the first project I would do. I would call it an enterprise project then as a student. And since then, I So I served in Katsina State. I worked directly with our late former president, that is Yaradua. So we worked together and I did lots of things in Katsina State, helping them to automate the budget and so many other things around there. And what else? From there, I then started developing software for companies. And I note something in my software development, that I interact with users. I don't interact with decision makers. Unfortunately, I met a man in one of my clients, is his CFO. So when I was working with him, he told me, young man, you have done lots of things like this. That's the very first time I will know what they call dashboard reporting. Your application has several reports, but I'm not interested in that report. I need a single report that will give me so many things. I need an holistic view of the organization. Say, wow. So it starts sketching out on paper what he wants to do. I look at what he's trying to do. I say, wow, this is good. And then I use Visual Basic, use Crystal Reports. I tried to build this with Crystal Reports, but it was not going fine. So I have to go back to Excel. For the first time, I built a wonderful dashboard in Microsoft Excel. Say, wow. So if I can do this, then. So since then, I started building dashboard on most of my application, using Excel to interface the application. I deploy it. And since the time I've started doing what we call dashboard reporting, I found that I now relate with stakeholders, decision makers, CEOs, the top management staff in the organization. I said, fine, if that should be the case, then let me go full into business reporting, BI reporting, analytics, and that's how I find myself in Power BI. I use Power BI with Excel. I use Power BI with Power BI Desktop, the web services. I use other BI tools like Tableau, Click, but I'm stuck with Power BI now because it's a wonderful tool to use. So, thank you. So, Michael?
Yes, sir. That's a very nice
run through.
Yeah.
So,
yes, very interesting one. And so I want to ask you, if someone is starting right now, I'm sure some people will start asking questions. I can see the numbers is growing, so they've gotten up to 14, and
wow.
Some people are already WhatsApping me. So I'm telling them that yes, they should join the link. So I'm sure the numbers will keep growing and questions will keep coming in. And one question people like to have answered to is, so they want to know that if I'm starting the journey right now, you have started quite many years ago, and also maybe you are one of the fortunate people who you started your journey even before coming into the corporate space, while you still were you'd not yet fully migrated into full-time job. So it's one thing that not everybody has experienced. A lot of people on this call are already working now and they are wanting to make that switch, and for them, they want to follow a pattern that they are very sure will work. So I want to ask you, if you have an advice for someone who maybe he has graduated, maybe has 2 years or 3 years work experience, but in his field that is not related yet to data, and is wanting to switch, he's getting these vibes of this is the future, this is what I have interest in, these way opportunities will open for me, and he wants to know how to make that switch, how to groom himself or herself. What will you advise? What steps will you ask the person to follow?
Okay, thank you, Michael. So what I will suggest is this: if you are working, then there is need for you to still keep that job so that let food be on the table. But you need to also do something. You need to develop yourself in the parts. So when I say develop yourself, just map out time within a day. If it's 1 hour on daily basis, if it's 2 hours on daily basis, be consistent with it. That same time, be on your system, do your study. There are a lot of online courses if you don't have time to go into a classroom training. So equip yourself. So once you equip yourself, then the next thing I want to tell you is that that skill you have in you will take you there. So with the skill, you can actually find yourself doing lots and lots of things out there, right from online. Start doing some great work. You can just pick up some free data set, work on it, showcase it, bring out insights from it, then keep showcasing this on your platform, on your social media platform. And I tell you, somebody out there will actually notice what you are doing and will definitely pay for the time spent trying to get yourself up doing all this. And I tell you, the field is still green. If you are out there, you still want to find yourself in data science, in BI parts, you are powerfully welcome, because Nigeria is not yet there. We have lot and lot of organization out there that needs to do what you call business insights, business reporting. And if you can equip yourself as you are working, these are things you can do on the parallel. And right in your organization, if you are working, you can actually do a career switch. If they notice that you can get this thing done and you are good at it, I tell you, then you can actually move for a career. I've seen somebody that is in another department, in fact, a medical doctor, right there, still in the organization, is showing interest in business reporting. Today, he's still working in the organization, but is handling the strategic parts of their work. So that is something that you can actually just get yourself, be determined, be disciplined, set up the timeline, and on daily basis, equip yourself and start laying your hands on some practical things. Now, after you've done something like that, the next thing you need to do is then go out there to start solving problem. As you are solving problem within the organization, solve problem. The more problem you solve, the better opportunity you have in that workspace. So, and if you are not working yet, fine. Right there, there are a lot of organizations out there that are ready to outsource some of these jobs. Pick them up and let's see how far you can go with them. So I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sorry. So great. And the question and answer, I'm also watching, and if anyone, I've already shared your LinkedIn link so people can connect with you, and also I've shared your website. Your website is really unique. I wish I can show people what it looks like. Where did you get that concept from? It's really amazing. Let me see if I can pull it up, so that people see themselves. Like, it's one that I wish everybody should just take a look at, even if they don't know if they will need your service. They should just take a look at it and be inspired by what they see over there. So, and so one question again that I want to ask you is, it's a question that people already ask, and I want to get your own unique perspective to it. So there are people who keep asking over and over again that there are lots of tools, and then they want to know, they keep asking, okay, which tool should I use? Which one should I learn? Every day we are being bombarded by this Power BI, there's Tableau, there's Python, there's R, and then there's always been SQL. How do all of these things relate? And I don't think anybody can be a master of everything. So I want you to, give your own perspective to the answer. As for how do someone who is being bombarded daily online in groups with all these different technologies, how can he take a structured approach at going after what you should go after in this space? So yeah, yes, sir.
So thank you very much, Michael. Well, one thing I would like you to understand is this: tools will never end. You'll keep seeing new tools coming up on daily basis, and once you know the best tool that works for you, just stick to it. I said something when I started my BI tool. I use Excel majorly to do this work, despite the fact that I'm very good in SQL Server. I still enjoy using my Microsoft Excel to build up dashboard. Later, before we even talk about Power BI, I met this application. It was unique, sweet, superb. That was Tableau. I started using Tableau to deploy some of my projects. And along the line, I met Power BI. I was amazed with all the features in Power BI. So there's a project I'm doing for an organization. I've started that project with Tableau. Halfway, I did the remaining part of the project with Power BI. And the next thing they told me, no, young man, you have to complete the project with Tableau. Then I now saw that, wow, this is a huge difference. What I achieved in Power BI in 2 days, I can't achieve it. In fact, I found Tableau, and now Tableau that I've been using for years now suddenly became so difficult and complex somehow, because I've seen something. I did not even learn Power BI. I just stepped into it and I started using it, and I find it so simple, so easy to get most of my model done, pull up my report immediately. Wow, I have to beg them, please. I don't know. I don't mind converting all the projects into Power BI, because I think I actually fell in love with this. Though I proposed Tableau to them when we started the project, but now I have to beg them. At the end of the day, we have to move the whole project to Power BI. Power BI is a tool that is very simple. If you are a beginner and you want to go directly into SQL Server, then you must be prepared to do lots of things. Not only that, now MDS is there. You need to now at least scale up. But if you're a beginner and you don't really want to put so much pressure on yourself, and you want to get the fundamentals and get running, so later you can now build on the foundation that you have. So I will recommend Power BI is a very good tool, very simple, easy to learn, and you can deliver your report very fast. It's 100% free. That's the Power BI desktop, so you can work with. It's a nice workspace. Once you are done, you can publish your work in the web service. In fact, it's a tool that you can start with and achieve great results. So apart from Power BI desktop, the web service, I will never leave my Excel alone. I have been using Excel. In fact, the love I have for spreadsheets, before I started using Microsoft Excel, I was using things like Super Calculator in those days, in the 90s. Around Super Calculator, we started using things like Lotus 123, Quarto Pro. So when I was using the Super Calculator and Lotus 123, I looked at this tool and I said, I want to actually build my own spreadsheet. Sincerely, I built my spreadsheet to compete with Lotus 123. As I was showcasing my spreadsheet, somebody showed me Microsoft Excel. When I saw Excel, then I just have to kill the vision that no, there's no way you can match this tool. So I have to embrace Excel. Until today, is a tool that has really helped my career. There is, in fact, nothing you're trying to do that has to do with visualization analysis that cannot do with Excel. So you can even start with Microsoft Excel, but the major thing you should know is professionalism needs to come in place. Even if I'm using Excel to build a dashboard for you, I bet you once I publish that dashboard, you will never know it's Microsoft Excel. Sincerely, you will think I use one big application, and people come around and ask you, what tool did you use? Tell them I did some API. By the time you tell them, they leave you alone. Whereas at the end of the day, the only major thing you do is just Excel as a tool. Because by the time you tell them use Excel, they look at you, wow, Excel. Excel is a wonderful tool you can use. If you don't want to use Excel, you can go with Power BI. Those ones, they are very simple. We have other tools like Tableau. We have tools like MicroStrategy. We have tools like Click. They are simple, but I tell you, if I'm to recommend, I will recommend Power BI. But don't stop there. As you learn your Power BI, try to take it to the next level. Start doing things with magic things with what's it called? With SQL Server. You can move on to programming tools like Python. And thank God for Power BI. Power BI allow most of these tools to work within it. Those programming language, Python and R scripts. Yeah, thank you. Excel to tell a story around this simple data set. So the story I would like to talk about, I'll be using just one of the two. We have Excel comes with Power Query. So Power Query helps you to get your data sets, do your ETL on it. Somebody might ask what's ETL. ETL simply means extract the data, transform it, and load it. So you have the Power Pivot, where you do your data modeling, where you do add columns, where you add measures to your work and make it robust for analysis. So, and the next one, you have your Power View, where you visualize your report. You have a lot of great visuals there. And other things, the last one we have is called Explore. You use to explore the data, to tell the story around the data. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate today. And that is called Power Map. So where will I see Power Map on my work? Okay, let me first check out the version I'm running, because I run, okay, this 2019 version. Okay, so let me come to under Insert button. Under Insert button, I will see my Power Map. So my screen is dragging its feet. So let's just give it time to do what it wants to do. Okay, so under my Insert button, I have the following menu, the ribbon. But the ribbon I'll be using today is a 3D map. So, but if you want to use any of those powers that I mentioned, any of the 4, please feel free to use any of the 4 powers. One of them is your Power Query. You can see it here. The other one is Power Pivot. I don't even have Power Pivot on the screen, I guess. So the other one is Power Pivot. Okay, there's Power Pivot there. You can see it here. The third one in the family is Power View. And finally, you have the Power Map. Power View and Power Map, you have them under the inserts. So to do analysis with my work, if you have a data like this, all you need to do is to convert the data to table. And I believe if you're an Excel user, you know how to convert your data to table. Let me quickly do that. Just say Control A. From Control A, say Control T. When you press Control T at that point, or you just come to Home, under Home, Format as Table. That is that. So this is already formatted as table. Now the next thing I will do, I will just go straight into my 3D map. I want a 3D map for this job. So open up a 3D map. So when I click on 3D map, so it's telling me loading the data model. So we'll pass this through my model and open up my 3D map, and my data will be presented for me to use on the 3D map. 3D map, this is loading. I believe Michael will agree with me. This is one of the most fearful things we do. You are doing a live presentation and you are praying. Nothing should. Okay, so I'm happy. I can see my 3D map. So this is great. So immediately I launch my 3D map, it loads this. Immediately, let me take this as well, you can see, because if further we are talking about, there's a column in my data that is talking about states. It has automatically picked all the states in the database and it has represented them on the map of Nigeria. This is awesome. I've not done anything. So the map, I can zoom either out, so you can see the globe. This is your world. You can see India, you see China, but our information is around Nigeria. I don't want the globe to be curved. I want to flatten my map. I can click on flat map. The map is flattened. I want to zoom it closer so I can lay more focus on Nigeria as we have it there. Good. As I have it now, I want to put label on the map so that let me see all those areas on the map. I've clicked on label. I hope this will not embarrass me because of network. Okay, good. I'm happy it's coming up. Hooray. So this is not great. So it's showing me all those areas. And the more I zoom in, it keeps drilling down. I can see Abuja. The more I go in, I'll be seeing all the streets in Abuja. I will see all those areas there. But let me just come out. I'm talking about Nigeria as a whole. This is good. Let me take out the label. It's dragging my system performance. So let me just take that out. We all know Nigeria. We know what is in Nigeria. Now, I don't want them to come as a dot. I want all these areas to come as a, it should visualize each region. That's draw out each region. Great. So this is a nice visual telling me that we are selling in Nigeria, but we are not touching all the states in the country. Though we are touching over 70%, if I can guess right. So of the land mass, and we still have some areas we are not touching in the country. So those areas we still have good long way to go. I will decide to call this first screen. Let me rename it. I don't like the name screen 1. I will come to this engine I have here and say, please give this name, call this coverage. That's our coverage. Good. And the coverage will display for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is too much. Just display for about 6 seconds. I'm okay with that. So transition duration, within 3 seconds, move to the next scene. That's okay. When you are moving, move with a good effect. I have different effects here. Let me try out what we have in figure 8. Then I will close this. So with what I have here, I'm done with a scene. The story on this scene is to tell them the coverage, our sales coverage in the country. So we still need to do some things to cover the country 100%. Now, I want to have a new scene. As you can see, I have new scene here. Take my new scene from the first scene. This is the second scene. On my second scene, what do you want to do? The second scene, let me work with another layer. Okay, no, still on this layer. I want to lighten that color I have there. Let me lighten the color. Good. So still there. Let me have another layer come up. The second layer is giving me a red mark, a red dot. So the red dot is still the state. I'm okay with it. But those dots should come with different heights. Their height should be based on the profit generated from each state. Is there profit here? There's no profit. What of sales? I don't have sales here. How come I don't have profit or sales in my data set? Okay, quick one. I can minimize the data set and come back to my real data. My real data, I have unit cost, I have price, I have quantity, I need sales. So permit me to quickly add a column here, insert. This column, let me call it sales. Have I typed sales? No. Remove that. Let me call this column sales. The formula for sales, we all know that sales is equals to the quantity I bought, multiply it by the unit price. So that is my sales figure. So don't let me waste our time calculating, doing other columns. That column is enough for my analysis. Let me go straight back into my other screen. Where's my screen? On getting back here, it will not show automatically. Let me look for it. So good. I can't see my sales here. All I need to do at this point is say, please refresh the data set because I've done a modification on the original data set. So as I'm refreshing the data set now, the next thing I will go back there to check. Good, I have my sales. So the height, they should all come with different heights. Let me take this guy out of here. I have them with different heights. Let me tilt this down, bring it closer. So I can see different heights. We can see our sales as it comes. So these are another wonderful reports telling me the areas and what we are selling. So that our sales is much. Okay, let me zoom. Let me create the third scene. This is 6 seconds also. Let me create a new scene. The third scene, I want to focus on the northern part of the country to let them see what is happening in the northern part of the country. I think this is okay. So this one should also show for 6 seconds. Give me maybe the last scene. The last scene, I want to show them the southern part of the country. So I want to tell a story and let them see what is happening in the southern part of the country. And I now want to show them the last scene. Why is our sales stronger in the southern part of the country? Give me the last scene. This last scene, show me the whole country, minus, show me the whole country. Now what I want here is, don't just give me the height, give me, categorize it based on the channel they used to sell these goods. Let's say the channel. Don't place them on each other, place them side by side so I can easily see. Can you see? This is a nice story. The northern part, they are only patronizing one channel, and that channel, if I point to it, the channel is tall. But the southern part, they tend to use more than one channel, and you can see the impact on their sales. So they use catalog, they use online, and they use store. This is a nice story I would like to present to the management. So I'm done with my nice work. I can decide to quickly do a short presentation. Let me test it. I can convert it into a video, create a video. I can convert it into a video, but I'm not converting to video. Let me just present in the next 3 minutes what we have done. So to present this, I'm coming to the first slide. I'll come to my play tour from beginning, or I can play tour from the current scene. I want to play this tour from the very beginning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to show us our sales in Nigeria. Our coverage is not that much, though we have done about 70%, but we still have some areas we need to cover. Now let us look at our sales revenue generated. In the northern part of the country, our sales is not that strong, and I'm going to tell you the reason and what we need to do to improve performance around there. Compare this to the southern part of the country. The southern part of the country, you can see that we have good sales drive and revenue from that area. Now let us see what is actually impacting on the sales in those parts of the country. In the southern part of the country, they patronize more than one channel, as you can see, but northern part of the country, they stick to one channel, which is store. We need to encourage our regional directors to see how they can use all the channels we have in the organization. So thank you. I've just finished a presentation. I have to share the story using visual. Now compare the story I just shared now with somebody here sharing the same story, telling them that, well, we are working, not that we are not working. As you can see in channel, we are selling. You don't tell story. You cannot deliver your message with value if you are using screen that looks like this. You need to use screen that is more visual, dynamics, interactive. People can align with you. They will enjoy your story. So thank you very much. I guess we have about 10 minutes. I can leave that for interaction and question. Thank you very much, Mr. Michael.
Thanks a lot. Some people are even having issue with seeing, but that one with something we can help them with at worst with some recording for those who said they couldn't see. So some questions came in. Let me read them out to you. So the questions are okay. So Olatunde asked the question. So the question is that, okay, I'm very impressed with your profile. It's inspiring for someone working in an engineering role, not necessarily IT. Can go this far to get. Let me read it the way it's a bit confusing. I am very impressed with your profile, Ayodeji. It is inspiring for someone working in an engineering role, not necessarily IT. Maybe he wants to say how far. Okay, how far can he or she go with using data to guide technical decisions?
Okay, so well, for as far as I'm concerned, data is not only in IT. Data is everywhere. Even engineers generate more data than any other industry as we have it there. So one thing you should know is this: IT or data science or anything we are talking about here is not just tied to one particular industry. As long as you have data in your field, you are very much relevant to tell a story around that data set. Data comes in different ways. As you keep getting them, what story can you tell? What type of visual can you pull out around there? So, and if you have your part in engineering, I will still tell you, I have a friend that started a good part on his engineering career, but sincerely, along the line, he started doing some great things. Like, he's a full engineer, a chemical engineer. He's showing interest in analyzing some of the data sets. He's showing interest, but as at today, he's doing what we call financial projection. He picks up data. So he started from engineering data, but now he has gone to financial data. Is the same, just use the tool in any field, in any industry, you can always get results. I told you about a guy that is a medical doctor, but he's telling a lot of story with data today, and it's helping and it's saving life, even with data. So even in engineering, there are a lot of things you can use that to do in your field. And engineers, you have more, you are a step ahead of others, because in terms of mathematics, calculation, logic thinking, you are stronger there. So I believe you are still more positioned than other people in the world. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that comprehensive answer. So someone else is asking, hello sir, thank you for coming around. Prior to Power BI, what BI tools have you used, please?
Okay, as I earlier said, before Power BI, I used tools like Microsoft Excel to do my visualization analysis. I use tools like Tableau. In fact, I use Tableau a lot. So those are the two major tools that I use. In fact, before those two tools, I do some reports, but then I can't call them dashboard reports, some analytical reports with Crystal Report, because I use Crystal Report to build my report on any of my application. So if I build the application, then I use Crystal Report to come up with some tools that will help decision making. But later left Crystal Report for Excel, from Excel Tableau, from Tableau to Power BI. Those are the tools I use. But if I'm using Excel to build reports, I don't just use the normal Excel. I take Excel to the next level. I use tools like Macro, VBA in Excel, so that by the time you see the way it works, you yourself will be amazed at what Excel is doing for you.
Great, awesome. And so one other thing that we typically ask our special guests to share is, so which one or two projects will you say, of all these many years you've been in the industry, different companies, different field sectors, different tools, different scenarios, which ones are like your best, one or two projects, and why? Like, just share with us the ones that were like awesome in terms of the, I don't know, maybe what you did with it, or the experience around it, or what it was like that period.
Okay, so well, my BI career path, one of the projects that I really enjoy most is when I was working doing a project for a bank. So what they are trying to do is somehow very challenging, and anytime they call me for BI stuff, I'm like, no problem, let's go there, I'm ready for the job. So it's like, what am I going to do? You have the data. Once you have the data, I can tell the story. In fact, it happened, somebody gave me a call. Hello, can you hear me now? Okay, sorry for that cut. So, as I was saying, so one of the things that in fact, that helps when I was called from Abuja to come and handle a project. I just jumped at the project when I saw the offer. I did not even ask them the name of the database we'll be using. I do not discuss the complexity of what we'll be doing, because I'm so sure that once you have a data, we can tell a story. But on getting there, I met a database I've never heard of the name before in my life. I said, wow, Deji, you are in trouble. You left Lagos for Abuja without preparing for this database. Number two, they don't even have the access to the database. The man that has the access to the database is not available. Then I told myself, you're supposed to have taken the first step to ask them the basic things before you even jump into the plane coming down to Abuja. But as God will have it, we are using Power BI. Power BI can connect to over 200 data sources. So when I started exploring data sources, I found that the name of the data source is actually there. And again, I don't have the connection string. I don't have the connection parameters, but fortunately, I saw a connection string on that server. I just copied the connection string and I dumped it in a blank query. Before I know it, Power BI opened up the data set and I was able to deliver the report. It's like, wow, who is this magician? So that is one. Number two, for the banking sector, I got this terrible data set. Is actually a log file. It's not consistent. There are lots of things about the log file, and I am the type that if you give me any projects, I always want to get to the root and to the end and close that project. So when I saw that task, I have to do lots of ETL. So 80% of that project is actually around ETL, not visualization. If you cannot clean it, don't even bother to do any other thing. So, but the ETL sincerely was seriously challenging for me. It took me, I told them initially 1 week I will get it done. It took me 1 month to find my way around it. And after cleaning it up, the second challenge I had, no, don't just clean it. We can't believe that it can be cleaned. Not that you can clean it. We have created a table for you in SQL Server. As you are done with ETL, populate that table. Then I have to start using, that was the first time I will use R script within Power BI. I have to write an R script after the ETL process, move the old data into SQL Server, then now build my report on the SQL Server. At the end of the project, like, wow, I'm happy I was able to do this. But sincerely, it is challenging, and it actually opened my eyes to a lot of things. So I don't see anything complex when it gets to reporting, business reporting. So those are the two major projects that I can say, wow, they are challenging, but it's worth it. It's worth the time, it's worth the investment. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, awesome. Just at the nick of time. So I don't know if you have any final words for our audience, any word of advice or anything you feel you want to leave them with.
Yeah, so what I would just want to tell the viewers today is this. Number one, if you are determined, if you want to do something, get determined, write down your plans, your vision, and strictly stick to it, abide to the rule. Anything you do, experts will tell you what you do every day for 100 days will become part of you, and you will be one of the best in the industry. If you want to take Power BI to a greater height, I will tell you, start today and give yourself 100 days challenge. Spend, if it's 1 hour or 2 hours every day. At the end of the 100 days, come back to challenge me that you said this and it's not working. I bet you it's going to work. So let us meet at the top. Thank you very much.
Really awesome. Wonderful. It's a pleasure to have had you join us on this week's session. And yeah. I know if we beg you, you will be willing to join us again in a future session.
Sure. I have passion for things like this. Anytime I'm available. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
Yes, and have a nice rest of the day and the weekend, and happy Democracy Day to you, to everybody. Thank you.
Happy Democracy Day. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.